Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for watching. Today we are doing my bargain haul update. I posted a bargain haul on July 3rd, I believe, and I showed you guys things that I picked up from Dollar General and Family Dollar, and I told you guys that I was going to do an update, so obviously that's what this video is. I will be sharing with you guys kind of what I thought of all the products that I purchased, and I'll link the original video down below for you guys because in that video I do share all of the prices and like where I picked stuff up, so I don't want to share that stuff again just because it's going to be kind of redundant. So today is strictly just going to be review based, so let's go ahead and get into it. Let me just start off by saying that I've had so much fun with this makeup. I love bargain hunting. I love a good deal. It's just what I love. So some of this makeup has worked out so well for me, and some of it's obviously duds, but that's how just makeup is. High-end, drugstore, bargain, whatever you want to call it. It's definitely like there's hits and there's misses. So that's what this video is as well. So let's go ahead and start off with the things that were total misses, and then we'll go into what I thought was okay, and then we're going to go into my favorites last so I can leave you guys on a more positive note. So the first thing that did not work out for me was this LA Colors cream to powder makeup. I had a feeling this wouldn't work out just because I'm like, I don't really like that cream to powder type of formula, but I wanted to give it a try anyway. I did pick up the shade Natural. What I didn't like about this is just that it looked really patchy. It looked really dry on the skin, and even when I used a damp sponge with this, it looked really like streaky, and it didn't blend well into the skin at all. And that's just how I feel like cream to powders typically are. I feel like they sit on top of the skin, they don't blend very well, and they look just kind of creepy and gross, and this one was the same way. So even though this is only, I think, around like $4 to $6, I would still just say skip out on it. Another thing was this LA Colors lip contour. It has like a lip liner and then like a thicker pencil on the other side. I showed this in the haul that it completely, like this side, just completely fell out. So that's why I just kind of, it's a nice formula, but I just wish that it would actually work because I can't really use it on my lips now. So for that reason, I would just skip out on that. Another thing I wasn't in love with was the LA Colors Conceal It Cover and Correct Concealer. This is just like a little tube that comes with a brush. The reason I didn't like this concealer is just because it was a little streaky. So when I would apply it under my eyes, I would have to really apply a lot to get a nice even coverage. And then when I would blend it out, it would just kind of blend away. So wasn't a huge fan of this particular one. I will talk about the Peach Corrector I purchased in a second, but this like skin tone concealer, just not my fave. Okay, so next is the LA Colors, I think, what are these called? I'm not even sure, but these are the eyeshadow palettes that look like this. You have Nude and you have Cool. So these were just not good. They were kind of stiff to work with. Even the mattes, they were really stiff. They blended okay. They just weren't really pigmented. It was like when I would put my brush in, immediately it would get hard pan. It was really crazy. And I didn't really love the tones, especially in this Cool one. You didn't get any mattes. So that was the part that I was kind of, well, you got one matte. I'm sorry. You got the black, which is a matte. But everything else was just shimmery and a little chunky. It just didn't work out very well. I mean, it's a nice palette as far as the tones go that you guys will see on the swatches. You know, it's like bronzies and like, but you also get the cool tones in there, which I really like, but I was just not a fan of the formula. And the Nude is the same way. It has some more mattes in it, which I like, but it was like, even to get this transition shade, I already have hard pan on it. So I would have to like dip, do it, and then scratch off the top, and it would just always happen. I like the color layout. I like you get like a little warm quad, a cool quad, but everything is very nude. But I'm going to talk about the other eyeshadow palettes I purchased that I think you guys should get instead of these. All right, let's go ahead and talk about things that were just okay. So this lip gloss from Broadway Colors. This is the Elixir lip gloss in the shade French. I liked it. It was fine. It wasn't like an overwhelming good lip gloss, but it wasn't bad either. It was strictly just okay. I liked the formula, but do I think there's better out there? Yeah. So I would just skip out on this. And this is, I think, around the same price as like a NYX Butter Gloss. So I would just recommend picking up one of those and skipping out on this. This I was really kind of disappointed in. So this is the face primer from Broadway Colors. It's the Blurring Pores Face Primer. I really, really liked this. And then one day I was using it and I was like, why is it everywhere? Like, what happened? And I realized that the top part, you guys can see right there, came apart. It like broke. So whenever I would squeeze product out, it would also come out through the top and it would get everywhere. So for that reason, I haven't used it because I just don't want to clean up a big mess. But I do think that this really did blur the pores. So I don't know. Some people would say, oh, it was $5. What do you expect? No, I expect it to still like stay together. I expect the packaging to still work. So I just was not a huge fan of that, but I really did like the actual primer. I thought it blurred really well and it made my skin look really nice and smooth, but unfortunately the packaging broke and I just couldn't use it anymore. Okay, another thing from Broadway Colors, the Powder Contour Kit. This is in the one for light to medium, and then they have a medium to deep. This is strictly just a shade thing for me. So I love the contour tone in here. The bronzer tone on its own is a little yellowy for my taste, but what I do and what I did today was I just mixed both of them with a brush and then I applied them where I would normally put bronzer. The yellow tone in here is way too dark and the highlight's just kind of dull. It's a little lackluster, if you will. So I think if you do have like a strict light to medium skin tones, you would really enjoy this. For me, I can use these two shades, but it's not something I would go and repurchase just for those two shades. I think the formula is really nice. It's smooth. They blend very well on the skin, but I think, again, this is just strictly if you're light to medium. It's not if you are kind of more fair like I am. So now I'm going to talk about that peach corrector that I talked about before. So this is the skin tone concealer that I was not a fan of, but the peach corrector. So this is the same thing. It's the LA Colors Concealer Cover and Correct Concealer, but it's in the shade peach. I did use this today, and this is better than the skin tone concealer, but it's not as good as like my Pixie Brightening Concentrate or like the Collab one or my Catrice Wake Up Effect. It's just okay. It covers, but it's not like the most full coverage peach corrector ever. I think if you are someone who's kind of new to the whole color correcting game, you would really like this formula just because it is thinner. So it's not like a super full coverage, dramatic, something that you really need to work to blend out type of thing. It blends out really easily. It's just not the most full coverage, but it definitely does work. It corrects. It's just not as correcting as some other ones. Okay, next is another Broadway Colors product, and this is the Dark Circle Concealer. I have the shade Porcelain, and I really like this actually. I think it's good. I don't think it's the best concealer I've ever used, but it's definitely better than that LA Colors skin tone one. You just twist it up. It's a little pen, and then you can just draw it on. It's what I used today, and I think it works. I think it definitely is more coverage than this one that I picked up. It offers, I would say, like medium coverage. It's not necessarily like full, and I don't even really think you could build it up, but it definitely does cover a little bit, and it's really nice just for every day. But again, I do think there's better out there, but this is definitely not a bad product. Okay, the next product I have is kind of half and half. Half of it goes into like my favorites, and then half of it goes into the okay category. So this is the LA Colors I Heart Makeup Glow Palette. So this, again, is strictly just for shades. I love the 4 blushes in here. Let me see if I can turn this. Okay, without blinding you guys. So I love the 4 blushes in here. So smooth, beautiful, love it. The highlights, I like these two. These two are kind of a weird tone. They're like a grayish tone, so I'm not a huge fan of that. But overall, I really think it's a nice palette, and I think for the price, you can't beat it. Everything blends really well on the skin. These highlights are a little bit more natural than the one I'm wearing today, which I'm going to share in a second. But they still do offer a nice glow, and I love this. You get 4 matte blushes. This one down here looks a little bit more like satin finish, and then the highlights are up here. It's a little powdery, but if you tap your brush, you're good to go. And overall, I just really like this. All right, so now let's go ahead and talk about my favorite products. So this is from Broadway Colors, and this is the Matte Finish Setting Spray. I love this. The mister is so fine, and it really does help keep me matte throughout the day. I absolutely love it. Definitely recommend. I think they have, it's confusing because on their website they have like an all-nighter type of spray, and then they have this one. But then in stores it said that one was like a hydrating finish. So I don't really understand it, but this is just really, really good. It keeps me matte, and let me show you guys the mister. So stinking fine. It's awesome. I love it so much. Yeah, this does keep me matte. It keeps my makeup on longer, and the mister is really good. All I want is setting spray to do, people. Okay, let's talk about the eyeshadow palettes that I do love. So these are the LA Colors. I think they're called like the Personality eyeshadow palettes. I have the one in Frisky, and then I have the one in Flirty. I'm wearing the one in Flirty today. If you follow me on Instagram, you've already seen this a lot in action. I really thought when I purchased them that I was gonna like Frisky more, just because, you know, it's like that typical like warm tone kind of palette that's really popular now and all that fun stuff. And it is. It's really, really beautiful. But for some reason, I have just been obsessed with the Flirty palette. It just offers so many more different type of looks. Like this purple shade right here is the one I'm wearing today. And I did wet my brush just because I do feel like that's how you get a little bit more impact. But I just really like this palette. It kind of surprised me that I liked these tones more than the Frisky palette. They do come with a dual-ended sponge tip and then a little brush as well. I don't really use those. I just use my normal brushes, but I really, really enjoy them. They are a nice mixture of matte and shimmers. There's not as many mattes in the Frisky palette. I think there's only 2, but in the Flirty palette, you get, I believe there's 4 mattes in the Flirty palette. So definitely more shimmers in both palettes, but they're both really beautiful. I love the way that they apply and the way that they blend. And these were only like $5. And I think they have a couple other ones that I would totally recommend picking up if you find that those are more like your shades that you like. But I was really, really impressed with these. Definitely recommend these over these palettes. I just think that these were kind of a dud, and these were totally just awesome formula, awesome pigmentation. The shimmers are a tad fallout, flaky-ish, but if you wet your brush or you use your finger, it will be totally good. Even if you use a brush, it's fine. You just have to know that you're going to have a little bit of fallout. And with the mattes, they're a little powdery as well, but again, tap your brush and they blend like a dream. It's amazing. So definitely recommend these. All right, let's talk blushes. So these are the LA Colors Rad Rouge Blushes. I have been obsessed with these. They have so many colors that I totally want to go get more, but I know that I shouldn't. The one I'm wearing today is the shade Awesome. It's just a nice kind of mauvey neutral shade. And then they also have this one in Bodacious. Or I guess I should say I have this one. They have a ton of colors, but these are like $3.50 on the LA Colors website, but they're cheaper in stores. I think I found mine for like $3. And they blend so well. They're pigmented, but not overly pigmented where you have to be really careful when using it. But they blend so well on the skin, and they last a really long time too. I was really impressed with the staying power of these. So overall, definitely recommend the Rad Rouge blushes. I think they are amazing. Last but not least, let's talk about this highlight, you guys. This thing totally surprised me. I was kind of expecting it to be dry, a little flaky, because it's a baked highlighter, and I was kind of really judgy towards this, to be honest with you. But when I put it on my like cheekbones, I was done. Like, it was insane. This is the LA Colors Strobing Illuminating Powder. I do have the shade Champagne. I only found 3 different shades in store, but online they have a ton more shades. And it comes with like a spongy applicator. That I don't really get because I just use a brush with highlight, but whatever. This is what I'm wearing today, and this is blended out. You guys, this highlighter makes you look wet. Like, it makes it like look like you're sweating. Like, it is so intense, but it is beautiful. I am so obsessed with this highlighter, and I cannot get over how much I love it. This was like definitely the most surprising thing out of everything I tried. I thought I was gonna like really hate this, but it blew me out of the water, and it is so, so good. They have, I think, like a pinky one in stores and then a more like white one, but this one in Champagne is by far my fave. So if you want an intense highlight, go for this one. If you want more natural highlights, go for the 4 in here. But dang, that's good. That's real good. Okay guys, that is it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you liked it, and I hope this video was helpful. If you like this type of video, give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and I will catch you guys in my next one. Bye!